Vermont Red Pill here. Wow. I'm looking at the incompetence of our leaders, and my question is, just how incompetent are they, right? Is this incompetence, or is this by design? Is this a distraction from what is going on in New York, what is going on in San Francisco, what's going on in New Orleans? Let's just keep adding the number of cities that are doing vaccine mandates for their employees and the staff and the customers. Show your papers. Make sure you show everyone that you're vaccinated so that you can come into this store and buy food and groceries and come to this establishment to eat. And there's no medical exemptions. Are you kidding me? No medical exemptions? How are people just going along with this? This is really, really worrying. Like, the fact that people are just okay with this is... People wonder, like, what happened to the German people and why they allowed the Nazis to do what they did to the Jewish people. But they forget that Nazis also did this to the infirmed and the disabled, and they experimented on them. If you don't believe me, look it up. They did that. And right now, the disabled are not able to go to the movies if they haven't been vaccinated. They're not able to go to the zoo or to a museum, or, you know, God forbid that they need to go get a coffee somewhere. That would... Where are your papers at? Oh, excuse me, ma'am. I see you're in a wheelchair. Could you please show me your papers so that I can make sure that you're properly vaccinated? How do you do that with a smile on your face? I seriously hope that the people in New York are fighting back from that. I hope that the people in San Francisco are fighting back. I hope the businesses are fighting back. It's terrifying to know that there's lawyers in the area who won't even take phone calls about medical exemptions and how to fight for your rights. That's terrifying. Now they're saying that if you work at a nursing home, that they can deny you your Medicaid, your Medicare, for not being vaccinated. For not being vaccinated, they can deny you your health care. When is this going to come to the people who are receiving government assistance? How long will it take for them to threaten people on disability or supplemental income before they say, no, I'm sorry, the government has you down as being unvaccinated, so you no longer qualify for government assistance? How long is it going to take for that? Because I can see it on the horizon. I can see it coming sooner than we would expect, because the way this is accelerated in just a few months, I mean, just a few months ago, people were laughing about the possibility of vaccine passports. And then when we started seeing it happen in France and in Europe, that what do they call that? Unveiling their plans for vaccine passports. Now, if you think that this is just about vaccine passports, then you would be pretty naive, because this goes beyond that. I mean, they're literally asking to see your ID to make sure you are the right person who is attached to this vaccine record, which is attached to this QR code. You're a digital identity now. They know everything about you. They know where you live. They know your phone number. They know how old you are. They might have your social security number. I don't know, because I didn't sign up for one of these crap programs, and I won't. If it comes to Vermont, I'm not signing up for it. I'm living on the down low here. Every day I feel like I have to lie by omission. I hate straight up lying. I don't want to look at my friends and my family right in the eye and then tell them, oh yeah, I've been vaccinated. I got vaccinated on May 16th. I mean, I could do it. I'm a great liar, but I'm not going to do it. But I really hate lying. I hate it. But I mean, we're going to get to the point where they're going to start telling on us. I mean, look at what's happening in Australia. They're having these internment camps being, I'm sorry, they're not camps, they're cabins for the high-risk individuals with like 1,000 beds. And then they're really doing that. I will put a link to the news article that refers to this, but on Australia, they have plans for these cabins to put at-risk COVID patients in, amongst other things. I mean, they have left it open to other government emergencies as well, so not just COVID, is it? Now, wouldn't it be something if this is actually about distraction? If this is about trying, you know, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain while we go ahead and push vaccine passports, which will lead to social credit scores via digital identity. If you don't think so, maybe it's a conspiracy theory, maybe I'm going crazy here, but I can see the correlations. I can see them, and they're already happening. You're already getting your digital identity from your vaccine passport with your key to New York City or whatever. I hope it's worth it to you to give up all of your privacy, all of your personal information, which could possibly be hacked. I mean, these are not the best apps that the government is pushing, or that Mayor de Blasio is pushing. I bet they could be hacked, and then what? Then the hackers have all your information, and is that by design too? Who knows? Who knows what kind of seeds of chaos that they are planting? I bet you anything it's above and beyond anything that we could even imagine at this point. I mean, that's crazy though, right? Because we could look at any dystopian novel and say, oh, well, that would never happen. And yet, it's starting to happen. Your freedoms are starting to be taken away one by one. I warned about this last year. I could see it coming. A lot of people can see it coming. But it takes a different type of personality to accept that these things are happening. Not that they're coming, that they are happening. This is happening right now. Rebel, baby. Gotta rebel. You gotta show resistance. You can't just give in, right? They can't lock up all of us, can they? I know my SO is really worried about me running my mouth and saying I'm from Vermont, and just making it so that I would be an easy target, that if they did have these types of internment camps, cabins, and they did that in Vermont, or just in the United States in general, that I would probably be a target. They would probably find me. And the worst thing is thinking about what they could potentially do to my family. But I talked to my dad about this today, and he said, don't worry about us. Just keep doing what you're doing. I'm planning on volunteering to do the update voter registration rules and check the process, make sure that everything is, that machines are calibrated correctly, and that ballots will be distributed legally. I'm going to sign up for that. I'm going to go to the town clerk office, and I am going to sign up to be able to do that in Chittenden County. So I'll let you know when I actually do that, but I'm going to be there. I'm going to be keeping an eye on Vermont's elections come 2022. Pretty sure Vermont uses Dominion software. Now, I found correlations of a company that Dominion bought, I think maybe back in 2014, and they are the same company that Vermont uses for their election software. So again, I will look for the information I found originally, and I will link to that so that you can look at it and you can make up your own mind and see whether or not things are fishy in Vermont. Are we really that blue? Or are we more purple? I would assume we were more purple, but boy, are we ever reading blue. I guess that when I volunteer, I will find out, and I'll tell you what, if I find something fishy going on there, I will be on these channels. I'll be on YouTube, I'll be on Rumble, I will be on BitChute, and I will blow the whistle as loud as I possibly can. Because Vermont may be small, but it is beautiful, it is my hometown, and if something weird is going on here, if something corrupt is happening here, we need to find out, and other Vermonters need to know about it. I had a conversation on Twitter with the Secretary of State, the Assistant Secretary of State, and I called him out for using Dominion software, and he denied that they use Dominion software. And I pointed him to the site that showed that the software that we do use is owned by Dominion. That is the parent company. And he didn't really have much to say besides a canned response, which was, Vermont election integrity is of the utmost importance, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, he didn't deny what I had to say. It was shortly after that that Twitter banned me. So, people don't like the truth. It's obvious. They can't handle it. You can't handle the truth. Can you, Twitter? Can you, Instagram? Can you, Vermont Assistant Secretary of State? Can you, Phil Scott? So thank you, Phil Scott, for volunteering Vermont to be a haven for a whole bunch of Afghan refugees. I just hope that we vet them properly. Because there's nothing wrong with taking in refugees. I want to do that. I want to give them a safe place to live. I just want to do it in a smart way, that's all. Getting back to Biden, I just watched him today. I watched his press conference. He was almost an hour late for the press conference. It was supposed to be at 1 o'clock, and it was closer to 2 o'clock by the time he finally showed up. And it wasn't, I mean, they must have pumped him full of drugs right before and then had to wait for it to kick in, you know, before he went out there on the big world stage. And I gotta say, they did a pretty good job. He wasn't stumbling and bumbling, but he also wasn't saying a whole lot either. We don't have a lot of specifics about numbers or numbers of people that are coming here, numbers of people that still need to be rescued, numbers of Americans that are still in the airport area, let alone like in the city trying to avoid the Taliban. We don't know these things. At least he admits to that. Again, he said the buck stops here with himself. They're talking about invoking the 25th Amendment, but then we'd be stuck with Kamala, which is worse than Biden. And if we were to get rid of Kamala, then we would end up with Nancy Pelosi, who is worse than Kamala. So, we gotta keep Biden in office, man. I hate saying that because I don't like him. I think he's so corrupt. I think he's in China's back pocket. And I think he does whatever he's told by his overlords, the CCP overlords. So, what are you gonna do? America, we're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Joe Biden is the lesser of two evils, literally. Lesser of two evils. One being Kamala Harris, the other one being Nancy Pelosi. Democrat incompetence. Is this real? Or is this a distraction? Did they throw Americans and Afghanis to the wolves to distract the American people and really the entire world from what is going on with these fascist vaccine mandates that will potentially lead to social credit scores? Did they do this on purpose? Because if they did, that's truly evil. And I wouldn't put it past them. I also think that they could be doing this to distract from the audits that are happening. We just had Mike Lindell's big old cyber symposium. Showed a lot of potential election fraud. It was kind of hard to get through because there were some parts that were just, oh, come on now. You know, or there were parts that they had technical issues and you just had to like hang in there, and it kind of seemed a little amateurish, but I'm telling you, some of the stuff that's coming out of there is very much like what we've already seen, already saw, already tried to present in court, only to be dismissed for standing, which is the biggest cop-out ever when it comes to judges. Don't think that that was appropriate for our courts to just dismiss like 50 cases on standing. Or technicalities. But I guess that's the way our judicial system works, right? That's how it works now. So we've got the audits going on. We have Afghanistan as a nice distraction, and we have vaccine mandates that are being put in place, not necessarily quietly, but they're not getting the coverage that they were getting before the Afghanistan debacle happened. So, is this related to that? Again, I wouldn't put it past them. It's a wonderful distraction, isn't it? Alright, you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. God bless America. God bless you. And God bless the Afghanis and Americans that are still in Afghanistan. May they make it home safely.